chance to go back and look. Is that first quarter one of the best first quarters you probably had in a while?
It was really clean. Really, really pleased with the execution. The guys were ready, and it was a big challenge last week. Different structure. In the past, NC State was a 4-down, cover 4 defense. They'd line up, where they were going to be, and it was just, can you out-execute them? But this structure here, they switched to a 3-3 stack, a little bit different identification, a little bit different level of communication on all 3 levels, and I thought they did a really good job. But biggest thing with this group right now is I think they found their chemistry. They're very, very confident. They understand what it takes to prepare week in and week out, and really start to hit their stride. So I thought it was really clean, first quarter.
Tony, is the arc of progress about what you thought for the whole offense, or is it a little better than you thought it might be? Or?
I think we all knew what we were capable of, but we also understood it was going to take time. It's a new unit. Even though you had some returning guys that have played together, still each offense has its own identity. And obviously we had some really talented guys, but we needed a little bit of time to figure out, okay, what's going to be the overall chemistry. So I think that these guys have a ton of upside, and I think now they're starting to realize that, and they have the confidence to go out and work on the practice field every single day so that they can be prepared to go out and play.
When you look at the numbers, the consecutive 600-yard games, 500-yard games, and 55 points in 3 consecutive games, I mean, you ever been around an offense that's humming quite like this one is right now?
Let me knock on wood. I try not to look at the numbers and try not to focus on that. There's some key stats that I like to look at,
sure.
That I like to focus on: turnovers, red zone efficiency, third down efficiency, and those are areas where we got an opportunity to improve. We've been doing well with the turnover margin, but didn't have a great day on third down, and still have opportunities to improve in the red zone. So all those other numbers are for other people to talk about. The biggest thing for us is, we accomplished the goal, which was to win the division. Now we want to, send these seniors out the right way on senior day, and then we have another goal coming up in the state championship. So that's our focus. At the end of the day, we care what the final numbers are, and so that's really what we're focusing on. But we understand if we want to be in that conversation at the end, then we got to take care of business. And so I think the guys are confident right now, and it's our job as coaches to make sure that we don't overcomplicate it, that we get out the way and let them play, make sure that we put together a sound game plan, and then let the guys go play.
Tony, how difficult a job is it to kind of keep things humming when the guys know, okay, we accomplished something we've talked about all year long, and yet there are more steps? Does it make it any easier that you guys, and a lot of these guys have been through it a few times previously?
When you're dealing with 18 and 22-year-olds, every day's a challenge, just because they have so many external influences. And I think that they had an opportunity to be challenged, and they responded the right way mid-season. And I think these guys are in a good place. And then they're constantly getting positive reinforcing messages. Cleveland text Coach Sweeney and said, hey, remind these guys of how focused we were in the month of November. And I think these guys understand that we're in the best time of the season, which is the championship phase. But if you want to be remembered, you want to be talked about, then you better maintain your focus. And so I think these guys are in a good spot. They've all kind of, in their own way, figured out how to block out the noise. And the biggest thing for us is, as the noise gets louder, and the lights get bigger, that we just continue to focus on the process. And that's the biggest challenge, is just making sure that not just the players, but as coaches as well. This is the time of the year where there's a lot of distraction out there. There's a lot of things going on in the profession for us as coaches. There's a lot of stuff going on when you're talking about potential playoff picture, that we got to do a good job of just keeping our life simple as well. And I think it starts with us, and when we're able to figure that out, then it trickles down to the players.
Have you talked to Chad or texted Chad about it?
I sent Chad a text. Haven't heard back yet, and I understand he's busy, so I didn't expect to hear back right away. And that's a difficult situation. I've been there once before. And all I can say about that is I know the type of person Chad is. I know the type of coach he is. I'm grateful to Chad. My first day on the job was picking him up from the airport. And it was snowing. I can remember that it was snowing, and I'm like, please let me be able to get to the airport to pick up my new boss. But very grateful to him and his family for his willingness to believe in Coach Sweeney, to come and bring this style of offense and be willing to give me the ability to grow and develop in the offense, and giving me some responsibility, which ultimately prepared me to be in this position. But I have no doubt that he's going to bounce back. Just tough for any coaching family to go through a situation like this, because at the end of the day, I don't believe there's any coach out there that wants to do a bad job. I think every coach wants to do a good job, and they do what they believe they need to do to get the job done. And sometimes it just doesn't work out, and that's the unfortunate piece of it. So, just praying for him and his family. But I know the kind of man he is. I know he'll bounce back.
When you see the short leash that Chad and Willie Taggart had over at Florida State, do you imagine that would affect your mind process moving forward as you get interest from teams about a head coaching job? Is that affected at all when you see that coaches are given such a short leash now, it seems like?
I don't believe so because I try to be an individual that operates based off of faith and not what I see. And so for me, when the time comes, it's going to be spirit-led. And then I just have to trust that it's the right move, and then you just put your head down and you don't worry about that kind of stuff. I think that's what we've been able to do as a program is to block out all the noise on the outside. Who cares what's going on around college football, and focus on our formula for success. So for me going forward, when that time comes, it's going to be more spirit-led and focusing on, the task at hand than what's going on outside, if that makes sense.
Travis's confidence as a pass catcher seems to be at an all-time high. Lynn J has good hands as well, but how much more dangerous is this offense compared to last year when Travis is a viable option in the passing game?
I think it puts pressure on defenses, especially in some third down situations, and you're seeing more of that. And I think that's a tribute to Trevor and the offensive line as well, to where we can handle, being in 5-man protection so that we can release 5 receivers. And for Travis, we said all along that's really his next step is to become a viable threat out of the backfield if he wants to continue to play, at the next level and play for a long time. And so, he's not just confident catching the ball. You saw him, he's stepping up in pass protection with a lot of confidence. Just right now, he's kind of found his groove. He's figured out how to block out the noise and really just get locked back in on being the best version of himself. And, Lynn J came in the door with really, really good ball skills, but proud of Travis and the work that he's put in to make that a more natural, part of his game, where if you hand him the ball, that's natural. He knows what to do with that. Now, when you throw him a ball, he had to learn how to just be consistent and be confident and concentrate on catching the ball and finishing the catch with his eyes, and you're starting to see that, manifest on the field.
When you guys first installed the jumbo package however many years ago, how did that sort of come up in this original idea?
Yeah, I can't take credit for that one. That's Coach Sweeney's baby there, and he just had an idea. Obviously, the relationship with Cleveland and Christian, and I'm pretty sure Christian was in his ear a little bit because Christian believes he can do everything, and so he probably put a little bug in Coach's ear that he wanted to score a touchdown, running the ball or catching the ball, and Coach just said, let's have some fun with it. Let's figure out what's the best set, what plays we can carry each week within our package, and it's just kind of morphed over time, and obviously. Going into it, X was probably going to be the guy, and then X was down for a couple of weeks, and we said, hey, we've been practicing it. Let's find out the next best guy. And he said, hey, I got an idea. Let's hand it to Big John. So that's what you want to do? All right, we'll figure it out. And just really, really happy for John and all those guys. And again, it just, for me as a coach, the most rewarding, piece of my job is when you walk in the locker room and you just see the pure joy that the players have after a game, knowing that, man, they laid it on the line and they had success. And to see Big John and his offensive lineman, just how excited they were for him and how appreciative they were of that opportunity. That's really what it's all about.
How do you, you guys have a lot of very big, very athletic linemen. Like, what are the actual criteria to get a look at this?
I would defer that one to Coach Sweeney. It's got to, he has his ideas, and that's one of them. And again, I just go to him each week and say, hey, Coach, what you thinking? He said, this is what I'm thinking, and it's our job as a staff to put together the plan to bring it to life.
Dabo told us last night he's got players coming up lobbying him to carry the ball with him. Do you and Jeff get that as well? And he says it's Dabo's baby, but do you guys get
Of course, I get it every day. As soon as I walk through the door, I got Rook. He's been here for half a season now, and he wants to be in the jumbo package. And they're all wanting to change their numbers so they can be eligible. But yeah, they're all lobbying. But again, it just creates that excitement, and it makes it fun. And at the end of the day, all these young men started playing football for the joy of the game, the love of the game, and the fun that they were having. And I think that's one of the things that Coach Sweeney does an unbelievable job within the program. Is yes, it's hard work. It's difficult. It's a tough sport, but at the same time, you can still have that childhood, feeling of having fun every single day when you play the game.
Okay, that's what works now. Way back when, did you or Chad or anybody just say, whoa, maybe we should do this?
In terms of
the jumbo package.
Jumbo package?
Yeah.
What I've learned is you don't go against Coach Sweeney. He's got a way of, man, when he thinks of something, more times than not, man, it's gonna work. And so for us, and again, it's a way to reward different guys and have a lot of fun, and it helps me too, because I'm a very analytical guy. I got an engineering background. I'm numbers and angles, and I'm always trying But at the end of the day, it's the Jimmys and the Joes that make it go. And so anything you can do to help those guys just have an added edge, and if it's just having a little bit of fun with and actually, 320 pounds going north and south is probably the most efficient way to get 2 yards, if you think about it, as opposed to a 190-pound running back trying to slam into a 300-pound guy. So it's, for us, really no resistance. It's all having fun. And again, we do have to make it sound. We have to figure out what's the best scheme to make it work, and then let the guys go do the rest.
How much have you seen that resonate with recruits, the fun that you all have with the play calling? Do they come in here talking about stuff like that?
Oh yeah, I get texts, especially running backs. Man, coach, I like that. I like this. I like that. I saw y'all doing this, and so it helps. But I think overall, it's just a mindset of the total experience, and that's one of the 4 pillars of the vision of our program, is to make sure that these guys have a great college experience, and it starts with a good experience on the football field. Then a relationship with the coaches, then a relationship with Paul Journey, and everything else that touches the program. And I think that's what Coach Sweeney gets and does better than anybody else in the country, is making sure that they have a good experience. It's not always going to be fun, right? There's going to be times where it's going to be difficult, it's going to be tough, but there's also, it doesn't have to be like that the entire time. There's a time and a place for everything. And so he understands when it's a time to have fun and when it's a time to be locked in and focused.
Have there been a few throws from Trevor the last couple of weeks that would make you say, wow, no, that's the Trevor that I remember from?
I think the touchdown pass to Ross, and he fit that right over the defender's shoulder, and really he caught that ball for Ross. Ross didn't have a choice but to catch it. The play to T on the double move that we came up short and didn't convert. The guy made a good play on the end, but yeah, I've seen a couple throws here down the stretch that's like, okay, and again, there were throws early in the season, but some of that might have been overshadowed because there were a couple of errors, and a couple lapse in judgment on a couple of balls we should have thrown away that resulted in a pick that overshadowed, him still making those throws.
Does the one to Ross sort of show how confident he is playing right now, because he probably had some other options?
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is it was a slick surface up there, and we weren't expecting that. And it was really slick. And if you watch him, he actually almost fell on that play. So he drops back and he slips. He regains his balance. He sets up, resets, throws a strike. So I think he's figured out how to block out the noise, and that's the biggest thing with these young men, is figuring out how can you get them to just forget about everything that's being said and just focus on the formula for success. And that's hard. And that's hard for any of us. That's hard for. I don't think that's human nature. I think the human nature is you want to take the easy route. You want to kind of get by with doing the minimum, right? Expecting the maximum result. But the reality is you got to put in maximum effort, maximum focus to get the maximum result. And I think these young men are at a point right now where they're believing in that and they're sticking to it.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.